Hello, it is Sunday, March 27th, 2022. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It's a Sunday puzzle today, so a big grid. Big grid with some kind of theme. We'll have to determine what that is, of course, and this edition of the Daily Solve is brought to you by Cass Wilkinson Saldana, Skella Chicken, and, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster. So, thank you so much to the three of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, and thank you to everybody who has contributed to the Patreon campaign. That is the way you can directly support this channel and this series and help make all of this part of my daily work sustainably. And I very much appreciate everybody who's done that. If you join the campaign at patreon.com/dailysolve as a benefactor, you can get the Daily Solve Let's Check the Crosses mug, as well as this recognition on these videos. But of course, if you contribute to the Patreon campaign at any tier, you get access to the extra channel on the Daily Solve Discord chat server, as well as all of the bonus video solves that have gone up to date and the new ones that go up each week, such as the most recent Boss Words Spring Themeless League competition puzzle that went up yesterday that gave me quite a challenge, I must say. And hopefully that won't be so bad today for this puzzle, the Sunday edition of the New York Times Crossword. So let's get right on to that, actually. I always forget to say this, but do subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this. I always remember to say it at the end of the video, very rarely at the beginning. So if you're new or if you've not yet subscribed, why not subscribe? Okay, all that said, let's in fact move on to today's puzzle. This is, as I said, a Sunday puzzle. As all Sunday puzzles do, it is titled. In this case, the title is "I'm Still Standing." Don't know, that'll relate to the theme in some way. We'll have to see how. It was constructed by August Lee Kovac. This is the third puzzle constructed by August Lee Kovac. Did one of his a few weeks ago, and his debut puzzle towards the end of last year, I believe. And August Lee Kovac is a high school student in the United States, very young constructor, and I believe the youngest ever Sunday crossword constructor. So today's puzzle marks that record, seemingly. It was edited, of course, as always, by Will Shorts. And I think that's all we need to say about it. So let's go. Let's start solving. Oh, wow. Now look at this. This is surprising. So first off, the puzzle is symmetrical about a vertical axis, which is unusual. It's more often to be the most common form of symmetry in the New York Times crossword would be radial symmetry. But here we have this vertical symmetry. So if you folded the crossword along a vertical axis, it would be mirrored that way. But what's even more surprising to me is we have 5 unchecked squares, and we can see right away, actually, that they will correspond to the theme, because the only clue for these checked squares... This is interesting, actually. These numbers are strange. Sorry, I'm just realizing I'm not quite sure what's going on with this. Because this says 121 across, this puzzle's subject, but if you look at the numbers of these cells, this says 74, 92, 21, 52, 118. So what on earth does that mean? That's very strange. They don't seem to correspond to the clue. 74. Now, is there a 74 in the grid? There is. There's also a 74 up here. That is so strange. Sorry, I don't know. I don't know if that is part of the theme or what. I suppose we'll have to get there and figure it out. We also have this pyramid of circled cells. So quite a lot going on, seemingly, in this grid, but I've already gone a minute and a half and haven't even looked at a single clue outside of that little box. So let's start doing that. Swears to. The 2 in parentheses here means that we will apply that to not only to the clue, but to the answer as well. So whatever the answer will be something's to, and that will match swears to. Could be promises. It cannot be. Doesn't fit. Periods in history are eras. Level could be a tier. Could be other things as well. So it doesn't look right with the crosses, but here, not needing a thing could be set. I'm all set. I'm not needing a thing, for instance. 1990s to 2000s Volkswagen 7-seater. That'll be some sort of van, I would think. I'm not sure what it is offhand, though. Place with carts. Let's just keep going. LA region. Could be SoCal. Southern California is the region in which Los Angeles is situated. And blank generis, unique, would be sui generis. And then that U might be useful for a cross. Square. Uncool or unhip, perhaps, if it's square in a slang sense as opposed to a geometric one. Or, well, there are other meanings of square as well, but I bet this is the answer. So here we have prompt Greek name. Oh, look at this. We already have something relating to the theme here. So Greek name for this puzzle's enclosed answer. My brain keeps thinking Chiron for some reason. I don't know why. Targets. Aims at, perhaps? And sleeve fillers could be LPs. Sleeve, you could have record sleeve. Actually, on that note, I don't usually talk about anything related to this on these videos because it has absolutely no relevance to these videos whatsoever. But speaking of LPs and sleeves, I actually just earlier today this was yesterday, I suppose. I sent out a notice to my mailing list that I am making units of a record of mine, the soundtrack to the original soundtrack to the video game Firewatch, which I composed and have printed on vinyl record a few times. There are going to be more copies of that available on April 1st. It's been hard to find for years now. I reprinted it about a year and a half ago, and I've done a much smaller reprint that is going to be on sale soon. And the only reason I'm mentioning it here is because every time I do this, there are always people who say, "Oh, I missed it. You didn't say that you were doing it." And I always try. So I guess I'll put out that notice in as many venues as possible, including the middle of this crossword video. So perhaps one person will be interested in that. Anyway, where would I even send you to look for that? If you go to my personal Twitter account, at Chris Remo, I posted sort of blog version of that email update. So you could find that there. Anyway, sorry for that digression. So things could be items and prompt on time. Yes. Okay. I was thinking a prompt as in a cue, but this is prompt, an adjective. Well, I guess on cue can be an adjective as well. But in any case, it means prompt. One is on time, one is prompt, I think. Siri uses it. I'm not sure. Siri, presumably this refers to the Apple digital assistant or whatever those things are called. But what does it use? I'm not sure. What about this? Storm. A tempest, perhaps? Maybe. I mean, that would fit the M, but not this A. Aims at. Targets. Aims. Targets. Is there any possible way this could be tempest? Not sure. Doesn't seem likely. This targets does seem like aims at. What was this again? Oh, right. That's the puzzle's answer. I don't know what that is yet. Let's just keep marching through the crossword and see what happens. Motto meaning to the stars. Ad astra. Right? And not just smart. Ache? Perhaps this means smart as in, you ran into a door or something and you say, oh, that's smarts. But often that means a brief bit of pain or discomfort, whereas an ache is something more lasting. So maybe it doesn't just smart, but it aches, perhaps. What oil may do in frigid temperatures? And overseas land measure. Overseas. So does that mean a unit used outside of the United States? I'm not sure exactly what that implies. Hallowell, aka ginger spice. Oh, I know this from the crossword, I think. Jerry Hallowell. I mean, I think I've heard that name as well, but I think I can associate it with a spice girl thanks to the crossword. Pass it on. Perhaps Jean. This is a rare case. This happens every once in a while. Sometimes you'll see this sort of clue with an exclamation point at the end, and it's either describing the answer or it's something you could say about the answer rather than a definition or synonym of the answer, if you see what I mean. So a gene is something you could pass on. And so the clue is simply pass it on. And often, as I say, that will have an exclamation point. Sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it doesn't. Active sorts probably ends with an S. Oh, doers, I suppose. People who are active, people who do things. Does that S help at all? What an up arrow might mean. And Pepper's rank, Sergeant Pepper of the Beatles album Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. What oil may do in... oil may congeal in frigid temperatures. Yes, that makes sense. Overseas land measure, hectare. Is that not used in the United States? What does that mean, overseas land measure? And like a T206 Honus Wagner baseball card. I have no idea. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I don't know who Honus Wagner is, and I also don't know what T206 means. Perhaps that's a grade of quality or something? I'm not sure, but presumably it's a rare card. And lion in the Madagascar movies. I have absolutely no clue, but it looks like Alex, doesn't it? Alex or Alec could be, I suppose. Or something else, maybe? No, it must be Alex, because Dino friend of Buzz Lightyear from the Toy Story films is Rex. I do think I remember that. And even if I didn't, it would be relatively obvious from those crosses. High arcing shots in basketball lingo. I don't know. Unsurprisingly, I don't know this bit of basketball lingo. What an up arrow might mean, and what is this? C5 down. Let's go look at 5 down. This will be theme related here. With 51 across and 15 down, group in which C circled letters is the only one still largely intact. I wonder if this is something about Great Pyramids, maybe, and those 5 boxed off cells down below represent a tomb or a sarcophagus or something. Because the circled letters are they do form a pyramid shape. Though I'm not sure what the answer to this would be. So I'm not sure. I'm just taking a sort of a wild stab. Although here we have Egyptian desert. E.g. Oh, interesting. So it's not referring to a particular desert. It's looking for an example. It's saying an Egyptian desert is an example of this. Now, I'm not sure what that means, actually, in this context. Let's keep going. Harmonize. Could be sync, maybe. Actually, that would put a plural here, or not so much plural, but an S at the end would be appropriate for swears too. Place with carts. Does that help? And then... Well, this Volkswagen 7-seater could end with van. I still don't think I remember or know. Well, I either don't know or I don't remember the name of this van, but I did think it might end with van. And then sync. Blank homo, ecce homo. Behold the man. And most massive dwarf planet in the solar system. Don't think I know this, or at least I can't bring it to mind at the moment. And then Egyptian desert, e.g. So what is that? Hope that's not blindingly obvious and I'm just being very oblivious at the moment. It's quite possible that it is. Let's keep moving through the crossword. I should delete this van. I'm not really certain about that. Although sync is looking pretty good with this ecce homo, so maybe I'll leave that. Blank it ironic. Isn't it ironic? The line from the Alanis Morissette song, which, as everybody knows and is fond of observing, does not contain very many examples of irony. Storm. Right. Oh, right. So this probably isn't, this almost certainly isn't Tempest, because now we have this E from Gene. So I think I can put aims at back in targets, and that's fine. What an up arrow may mean, I'm not sure. Let's keep going. Green light, approve, or okay. The fact that green light is hyphenated makes me think it is a verb rather than a noun. If it were green light without a hyphen, then it would be a light that is green. But the hyphenation makes it a single word. In this case, I think a verb, meaning to green light something. So to approve something, I think is what that is doing there. Oh, approximately 5.5 million tons of it was used to build C-circled letters. Okay. This looks like stone, doesn't it? Limestone, perhaps? Contents of some belts, informally. Some belts. What, asteroid belts? Not sure. Bellini opera that takes place in Gaul. Oh, not sure off the top of my head. A equals B, B equals C, ergo A equals C, e.g. That's the transitive property, right? Doesn't fit. Is that a syzygy? What would you call this? What is it? Okay, A equals B, B equals C, ergo A equals C, e.g. It's an expression of logic. It's a logical inference. What? I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what this is looking for. What about this L down? Turkish money, liras, Turkish lira. And what about here? Gunslinger's cry. It could be draw your pistols. Sneaker in British lingo would be a trainer. That's what, that's how you would refer to sneakers in the UK. The shoe, that is. Singer's star turns. Could be solely, the plural of solo. Oh, green light. Maybe say okay. How about that? Although this is looking sort of strange. They wrap things up. Not sure about how this is looking. Let's check say okay. Regarding. Oh, yeah, I don't think this is correct. Regarding looks like as to, and harp-shaped constellation is Lyra, I believe. Western Hemisphere Group. OAS, what is that? Is that the Organization of American States, I think? Oh, a syllogism. Is this a syllogism? I think I was confusing that with syzygy, which is a different thing, but also sort of, relates to alignment, which I guess is why I was confusing it. But a syllogism: A equals B, B equals C, ergo A equals C. E.g. I think that's what I'm looking for here. And then green light. Oh, to allow something to green light it. That's fair enough. So what is this? They wrap things up. Oh, tortillas. I've had an excellent burrito this week as I'm visiting San Francisco, where I lived for most of my life and where I was born, and which has extremely good Mexican food, so I enjoyed that. Okay, swears to. And place with carts. Oh, Aerovan. Is that what this is? That sort of sounds familiar. Aerovan. Now that I think it or see it, I think that might be right. The Volkswagen 7-seater. I hope that's right. Or Eurovan, maybe. Although periods in history really looks like eras to me, so maybe Aerovan is correct. Level. And prefix with system. Oh, I don't think I saw this clue before. Ecosystem. Looks right. And what about this? Oh, 7 wonders. Oh, okay. So so the circle letters is the only one largely tied. It's a Great Pyramid of Giza, I bet that will be. And it is a pyramid. I bet that's right. So what was this again? Oh, sorry, that was just a continuation of this. So All right, with 51 and 15 down, 7 wonders of the ancient world. There we go. We're looking for the 7 wonders of the ancient world, one of which is the Great Pyramid of Giza. Let's see, can we get that in the, will that fit in the grid? Let's try it out and see. G-R-E, A, this is a disaster, T, P, oh goodness, all right, I need my mouse cursor, sorry. I don't like using it on this laptop because it's very unreliable, but I think it's necessary here. Great Pyramid. Oh, maybe not. This isn't fitting. Boo. Okay, never mind. Is there another name for that pyramid? Probably. Could be the. Okay, that actually fits. Let me look at exactly how that's phrased here. Okay. Yeah, okay. No, I do think it needs the because with 51 and 15 down, group in which C-circled letters is the only one still largely intact. So we would need the definite article, the THE here, in order for this sentence to read properly. So let's actually put that in. I bet it's right. The Great Pyramid. And it could be at Giza or of Giza, so I'm going to leave that unfilled for the time being until we can disambiguate that little bit of it. But I'm pretty pleased with that. I think that's probably correct. Now let's check some crosses created by that filling in that long pattern. It gives you a lift, a T-bar, a ski lift, form of ski lift in this case. And ooh la la could be fancy. This is looking good. 2003 number one Outkast hit would be Hey Ya. And then here we have opposing vote from a horse's neigh. Well, okay. All right, so we should finish off this area up here now that I think. Most massive dwarf planet in the solar system. I'm not sure. Otis? Don't think I know this. Contents of some belts informally. Ammo, ammunition belts. So ammunition informally would be ammo. And storm. Why do I not see what this is? It's the strangest thing sometimes. I just can't see things that are almost complete anyway. Reason for an R rating could be gore, a film in the U.S. film rating system. And purchase plan. What is this? Provide resources for. Could be endow, an endowment, perhaps. Committed to memory. Could be down pat. You have your, I don't know, list of things to do committed to memory. You have it down pat. So what is this? Sorry, I'm very irritated at myself for not understanding storm here. Oh, rampage, perhaps. I think I was just on the wrong sense of storm entirely. I wasn't going outside of the narrow band of meanings that was more similar to tempest. So if that were rampage... Oh, right. This is the Greek name for this puzzle's enclosed answer. Oh, I really don't know. I should probably leave this unfilled until I'm more confident. Is there any way storm could be something else? I might leave this unfilled as well, just to remind me that I don't entirely know what's going on over here. Yeah. Oh, but I should fill out this corner, this northwestern corner. Place with carts. Oh, grocery? So is periods in history not eras? Swears to. Oh, I suppose it's not. Ages. Ages. It is Eurovan. It is Eurovan. Ah, look at that. Okay. The Volkswagen 7-seater. Okay. I was a little bit confused about Aerovan because I did think it was Eurovan, but I think I tricked myself into thinking it was the other. But place with carts is a grocery store. And periods in history are ages. Eras was plausible, but ages is the answer in this particular case. Swears to is attests to. So now let's look down. Oops, grocery. Need to put an R in there. Egyptian desert, e.g., is a tract. Oh, a tract of land. So that's pretty vague and pretty general, but I suppose we have this in there as a bit of a light nod to the theme proper. I wouldn't consider this answer part of the theme, but it's thematically related, we could say. And 2 down, level, true. So this means level as in, carpentry sense, I suppose. Okay, so let's keep going. High arcing shots in basketball lingo, I'm not really sure. And what an up arrow might mean, send? You have an up arrow icon in an email client? I'm not sure about that. Oh, high arcing shots in basketball lingo, teardrops maybe? Is that absolutely no idea if that's basketball terminology, but maybe. Let's check the crosses. Bellini opera that takes place in Gaul. Why do I not see what this is? And then purchase plan. Oh, rent to own is a form of a purchase plan. It's sort of a funny phrase. Consecutive T's and consecutive O's right after one another. Big kiss, darling, and then that's in brackets, which means this is it's a non-verbal sound. So moi here. Oh, Norma, the opera Norma. There we go. Of course. And then it comes before 1 would be noon, comes before 1 o'clock. And an up arrow in this case does indeed mean send. So that was correct. Pay up would be anti-up. So in this case, and actually as with another answer, we have this up in parentheses, and that means we're going to append up both to the clue here, pay up, but also the answer, anti-up, in order for it to match more closely. So in a gambling round, for instance. And then word repeatedly said while plucking petals. Oh, sure. She loves me not. That classic little game. Country between Ghana and Benin would be Togo. And they reflected rank in old Rome togas, presumably. Blue ribbon or gold star. Here's an or answer, so this is singular, even though we have 2 things listed. It's only one or the other, so each of those is an award. And a chance to dream could be sleep. Straightforward enough. Artful, deft. If one does something artfully, one does it deftly, although this is looking strange. Oh, no, it's not. C-sharp equivalent, musically, the equivalent of C-sharp would be D flat. Radio host John, could be John Tesh, maybe, but let's check the crosses. College voter, perhaps. Oh, an elector. So this could be an electoral college, such as the one that ultimately elects the president in the United States, for instance. Light shades could be pastels, pastel colors, light colors. Right, this does look like John Tesh, radio host, American radio host. Burial blank. I'm not sure, actually. And then here we have municipal facility, abbreviation, a center of some kind, maybe? I'm not sure, actually, what's going on here, so let's keep looking around. One forced into a force. I would think of this as being a conscript. One forced into a military force, for instance. Not sure. And here, football cry could be ole ole. And that disambiguates our pyramid of Giza or pyramid at Giza. And it looks like of, in this case. Some December purchases, furs, fir trees, Christmas trees. Fakes, not sure. Although this SZ looks like it's going to have size. Oh, no, maybe it doesn't. No, I don't think so. Prehistoric Southwest culture doesn't look like anything to do with size. Looks like Anasazi. Am I pronouncing and spelling that correctly? I might have that slightly off. Anasazi. It's something, it's close to that. Actress Farrow would be Mia Farrow. Weapon in the Terminator. Wouldn't have remembered this, but I suppose it must be an Uzi based on the crosses there. Vardalos of My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Nia Vardalos, the actress and screenwriter, I think, of that film, perhaps. Element named after a German river. Oh, interesting. Not sure right off the top of my head. Fakes. Oh, feigns. So this is fakes, the verb, not the noun, which is what I was incorrectly imagining. And does that help up here? One forced... Oh, a draftee. One forced into a force. So that's similar to conscript. Conscription, draftee. I was looking at the wrong... I'm sorry. This 79 down, I was looking at the wrong clue entirely. I was looking at the other clue that it's referencing. So this says number of 101 acrosses in C-circled letters. So, I mean, even without looking at the other related clues, we can see that this must, if it's a number, it must be 3. That's the only thing that works. So a municipal facility is indeed a center. So a rec center, recreational center, for instance, would be one example. So what is this, in fact? Number of, we don't have 101 acrosses in the Great Pyramid of Giza. 3. Number of, the 3 is the number of what's in the Great Pyramid? Not actually sure. Like a book with a bookmark in the middle, say half read, I suppose. And if something is trendy, it is... Not sure. What about this? The A of James A. Garfield. Well, I don't know, but it'll start with an A, won't it? James Abram Garfield, is that right? Trendy. Could mod, if something is mod, sort of stylish. Oh, rhenium? Is that named after the Rhine? Or the Rhone? The Rhine. Must be. This does not look good. Oh no. So I suppose this is Abram, and then Villainous Star Trek Collective. Well, this is the Borg, so it must be the Borg. So we had the Great Pyramid of Giza and the Borg. Look at that. It's unusual to have the in a proper noun in the New York Times crossword as part of the actual answer, but sometimes you do, and today we have it twice. Although I suppose technically this one in the Great Pyramid of Giza is not actually an answer to a clue specifically. Okay, Brewer Frederick. I don't know, but I wonder if simply based on the fill it could be Pabst. The beer, Pabst Blue Ribbon. Michelle of Crazy Rich Asians. Was Michelle Yeoh in that? Didn't actually see that film, but just based on the cross and the number of cells, that would be my guess. Blank beans could be soya bean, and New York town that's home to Playland Amusement Park. Playland Amusement Park. Is it rye? Burial. I don't know. Oh, right. That was the thing that I mistakenly thought was the clue to 79 down. So number of burial chambers. I see, burial chamber. Okay, so the New York town is rye, and 3 burial chambers in the Great Pyramid of Giza. Okay, I see. That makes much more sense now. So I bet this thing down here is indeed this puzzle subject. Oh, interesting. Well, it isn't entirely self-evident, despite the fact that we've seemed to have sort of figured out what the subject is, at least in general terms. So the subject is the Great Pyramid of Giza, presumably. I suppose it could be something else. Well, we'll keep solving for now and see what happens. What do we have here? Hotel offering. Don't know. Oxford, e.g. Well, it's a shoe. It's a type of men's dress shoe. And waterfall feature, spray, perhaps. Sleeve filler is an arm. Your arm goes inside a shirt sleeve. and frequent victim of an April Fool. A sap, I suppose, someone who's very gullible. Tiffs could be spats, arguments. Spoils, loot. The spoils of war, loot. Hotel offering, a cot, perhaps. You could have a cot in a hotel room. Maybe that's what that means. Caused could be led to an outcome, caused an outcome. And they're stored in pollen grains. Is it gametes? Is this something dealing with reproduction? Let's put this in. So-called Iron Lady of Israeli politics. I saw Iron Lady at first, and with that M, I thought it was going to be Mrs. T for Mrs. Thatcher in Britain, but no, it says Israeli politics. Who is this? Oh, Golda Meir. So M-E-I-R is what I'm looking for. So not Margaret Thatcher at all. Sign of success could be SRO, standing room only. And like some chicken cutlets, often they are breaded. So let's put that in there. And fell for it could be bit. Oh, I bit. You got me. I fell for it. And pie follower. So we have a Greek letter here, the letter rho, R-H-O. A little squirt could be a tot, a child, a little child, tot. And ugh, looks like I hate it to me. Check the crosses to be sure. People who love to blank are always the best people. Julia Child. People who love to eat. Seems like an appropriate thing for Julia Child to have said. I guess one of the original celebrity chefs. Chewy confection, nougat. Certainly one of the original television celebrity chefs, I suppose. I don't entirely know how far back the history of celebrity chefs goes, but Julia Child would have been one of the first television ones, I would imagine. Anyway, workmates, e.g., could be comrades. And playgroup, I'm not sure. What about this? Kind of bar. A granola bar is a sort of is a food item. Pale blank could be a pale ale. That's a type of beer. Oh, and a playgroup would be a cast, of course. So a play is in a dramatic production, a stage production. The group, the cast, the group of actors who plays in it. Disney's Blank of Arundel. This is the Frozen character, Elsa, right? I'm sure that's the case. Sass could be lip. Don't give me any sass. Don't give me any lip, that sort of thing. Tad. A small amount. If it were 4 letters, it could be a wit, not one tad. You wouldn't necessarily say that, but you see what I mean. Website with an everything else category. eBay, I suppose? Could be Etsy as well. I don't know. Does either of those have an everything else category? I'm not sure. What about this? Time out. A nap, perhaps. So it looks like eBay, actually. So tad. Oh, a wee bit. 2 words. 2 words. I wasn't thinking of 2 words. So just a wee bit, just a tad. And make secret in a way could be to encrypt a message, for instance, make it secret. The office role played by Jenna Fisher, Pam, I suppose. And some small batteries could be AAA batteries. Mat made of soft rush, tatami, the Japanese, traditional Japanese mat. And UFC fighting style. This must be MMA, mixed martial arts. And smooth in a way. So if used as a verb rather than more commonly, I suppose, an adjective, as a verb, it could be to sand something, to smooth it out. And here we have creep. So actually, again, using this as a verb rather than the more common noun, it would be to creep along, could be to inch along. And then here it crosses with blank magnon, Cro-Magnon man. That looks right. So here we have one-act Oscar Wilde play, Salome. Looks right to me. And outdoor game for kindergartners. I'm not sure. What about this? Some more bit of a theme. This might help. With 101 across, where this puzzle's enclosed answer is located. Great. That is what we need to figure out. So, something chamber. King's chamber. Is that what that is? Where the king would be buried? That's interesting that chamber has been used in two different answers because didn't we have? Oh right, yes. Oh right. Oh no, I see. Yes. So it's burial chamber, and then it was referenced here three burial chambers, and then also king's burial chamber. So do we need to determine which? Oh, I don't remember which king is buried in the Great Pyramid at Giza. Do I need to know that? Oh, good Lord. It's often played for kicks, you might say. Mujeres con esposos. So what is the first word there? I wish my Spanish were better. Esposos would be spouses. What about this? Outdoor game for kindergarteners. Oh, something ball, maybe? What is this? You no good dog, e.g. A slur, perhaps? And yarn could be a story. You could tell a yarn, tell a story. TC ball. This isn't looking great. T-ball would be an outdoor game for kindergartners. It's sort of like baseball, but with the ball placed on a very tall tee to make it easier to hit. So maybe this isn't King's Chamber. I guess I don't really know what this is. What is this across here? Head in slang. Toilet? Not sure what this is. Anyway, this does look like T-ball to me. And what was this? You might take them out for a spin. Something ends in S, presumably. And then do we have anything about this one? Clipped. Could be terse. So in this case, clipped used as an adjective rather than a verb, which is, I think, what I would first have assumed. But terse, clipped, terse speech, clipped speech, you're speaking with a very short sort of diction, that kind of thing. Let's see. Okay, well, the grid is almost completely filled, but most of what's left has been things that are not obvious to me, I guess I should say. Okay. You might take them out for a spin. Well, with that T from terse, it could be tops. Spinning tops, a children's toy. And then it's often played for keeps. There we go. Right, that's much better than kicks. Why did I think it was kicks? So maybe this is indeed the king's burial chamber. That does look plausible. Head and slang. Is it knob? Is that appropriate slang here? Oh, senoras. Okay. And what is this? Oh, I don't think I saw this clue yet. Mexican poet Juana Inez de la Cruz. Okay, that seems pretty plausible. So actually, I think we finished off this part of the grid. Well, that's frustrating because I don't know what this... I have absolutely no idea who the king is. I'm still very confused about the numbers down there. So, what does that mean? Let's see. Sorry, my screen is... I've mentioned this occasionally. My screen is incredibly small that I use remotely, so I have to sort of lean in and examine it. How are we supposed to figure out what goes in? Oh, maybe we actually cross-reference these cells. Look at this. So 74, that cell has K. 92, I'm sorry, these numbers are so tiny. That's an H. 21 is a U. 52, this is sort of like the acrostic, is an F. And 118 is a U, Khufu. That is indeed an Egyptian king or pharaoh. That's really clever. That's really nice. That is sort of like doing the acrostic. If you're a Patreon backer of the Daily Solve, you may have seen me solve New York Times acrostic puzzles, which feature sort of a grid that's filled out by cross-referencing cells from other clues and answers that are numbered that then correspond. Anyway, it's sort of like what I just did. Let's see. So Storm, what did I think? I thought that might be Rampage before. Why did I not put that? Oh. Cheops. That's something related to Egypt in Greek. I think it's not pronounced this way. Or is it? I know I'm sort of, this term is familiar to me, but I don't necessarily, I can't quite recall exactly. I worked for a couple years on on a game called In the Valley of Gods that was set in Egypt and had a lot of, it was set in the 1920s and dealt a lot with Egyptian archaeology. And also as a child, I really loved Egyptian history, as I think a lot of children do. But so I sort of have some of this terminology floating around in my head, but unfortunately, some of the specifics have left me. What is this? Oh, Siri uses iOS. Okay. That's the operating system used on iPhones. Fair enough. So this does look like Rampage. Most massive dwarf planet in the solar system is Oris. That sort of sounds familiar, even though I wouldn't have known. And no, it's not correct. Okay. Oh. I spelled this wrong. I even read it as though I'd spelled it correctly. Ecce homo, ECCE. So it's not Oris, it's Eris. That was loud. Sorry about that. That's frustrating. Admire your puzzle, okay. I think this is an admirable puzzle. I think I will admire this puzzle, although I don't know that I'd call it my puzzle necessarily. I'll admire August Lee Kovac's puzzle. Okay, so that was I think quite a fun solve outside of my frustrating mistake. The thing that is, I guess, challenging about, well, it illustrates why copy editors are so incredibly valuable, because when you read your own writing, your brain tends to give yourself the benefit of the doubt. And I even pronounced what I had mistyped here as though I had spelled it correctly, which is absurd. But anyway, outside of that, I think this was a really fun puzzle. I really liked working through it. So obviously the puzzle is archaeologically themed in the sense that it deals with the ancient world. In this case, broadly, the seven wonders of the ancient world, and specifically the Great Pyramid of Giza. And I feel as though the process of solving this puzzle sort of felt like crossword archaeology. It felt like I was excavating the theme. I remember thinking early on, this sort of, well, I think even at the very beginning of the puzzle, I described these circled cells as being in the shape of a pyramid. And then that started to become increasingly clear, but I wasn't entirely certain that's what it was. And then even when I put it in, I started putting it in just as Great Pyramid of Giza. That didn't fit, so I chipped away at it a bit more, needed the definite article at the beginning to make it work. Eventually, we did have to, in fact, penetrate the deepest sort of corners of the pyramid with the king's burial chamber here, and then work through bits of the puzzle to spell out the name. It's a very clever theme in that I do think the act of solving it is a bit like the chipping away of archaeology. I think it's very clever. And I enjoyed it a great deal. I think this was a very fun Sunday puzzle. A nice intricate theme that really takes advantage of the whole grid. We have this big illustration of the pyramid and the burial chamber. We have bits of the theme scattered throughout. The seven wonders of the ancient world over here. We had King's burial chamber and 3 burial chambers in total referenced over here. So there were really bits everywhere. And then even little things like a reference to the Egyptian desert up here with this tract. Not officially part of the theme, I wouldn't say, but just another reference. We had Cheops here, which I probably am pronouncing poorly, the Greek name for Khufu, I suppose. Well, I suppose that's what it is, Cheops Khufu. Although I do think this is pronounced not as I'm saying it. So I need to remember. Well, I need to look that up later. Anyway, I think a very nice. Oh, and then encrypt, another light, I think light reference to the theme. We have a crypt, lightly referenced here with the concept of encryption. Anyway, just a really nice theme, a very ambitious and well constructed theme from a very young constructor. So well done, August, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. Let me know how you fared in the comments. With that, let's just activate the spoiler wall here, and let's discuss some clues from yesterday's puzzle. So what do we have? I think we actually have a small handful of these today. A few people chimed in about the concept of a cuddle puddle, with which I was completely unfamiliar. Richard Lorenzen says, maybe cuddle puddle. So cuddle puddle refers to a horizontal group hug, and Michelle McBride Charpentier says it refers to cuddling in a pile on the ground. I feel like it started with puppies, but I've heard of it being used as a group of humans too. And Philippe Boucher says a cuddle huddle, which is what I originally put in. He says, and what I also originally put in, is a vertical standing version, whereas a cuddle puddle must be because it's on the floor. Anyway, I looked this up, and it seems to be essentially almost a sort of therapeutic technique. You lie on the ground, I think more often with strangers as opposed to necessarily people you know. So it is as described. It's a horizontal sort of mass hug on the ground, a cuddle puddle. I was completely unfamiliar with the concept of this. Okay, ZOR95 explains that a farad, F-A-R-A-D, is the unit of capacitance which measures the ability of a capacitor, two conducting surfaces in an electric circuit separated by an insulator, to store an electric charge via the removal of electrons from the positive node, which then build up on the negative node. It is named after Michael Faraday and was apparently originally a unit of charge, but somehow changed along the way. Congrats on the streak. Thank you. So there we have it, named after Faraday, as I suspected. And Anders Weinstein explains what was going on with lacking zip, meaning entire. Zip is slang for nothing. So lacking nothing, entire, the entire thing. I did not understand that at all. So thank you for the explanation. Anders also congratulated me on the streak. Thank you for that. And Blue G explains regarding 24 Across, the character voiced by Steve Carell, which was simply GRU. Blue G explains Gru is the main character from the Despicable Me animated film series. Thank you. So I've heard of that. I've heard the name Despicable Me. I have not seen it, and I don't really know what it is. So I guess that explains why I was so baffled by Gru, Steve Carell. So there we have it. Character from a film series. And I think that was it. That was all the comments. I'm doing this puzzle actually quite early, so apologies if there were any comments left after I harvested them, but that was all that there was at the time of recording. And that's that for the Sunday puzzle. I enjoyed it. I hope you did as well. And I will, of course, be back tomorrow for the Monday puzzle. Much quicker puzzle on a much smaller grid. Still themed, but most likely a very gentle theme. I hope you join me for that. But until that point, please do have an excellent remainder of your Sunday. Take care.